Am I the asshole for always saying yes when my coworker Hector asks me to cover his shifts, even though it's not fair and he constantly guilt trips me into agreeing? So I work in a service industry joint with Hector as one of my coworkers. We're both on the same shift schedule, which means we've got to figure out who's going to be working when someone calls in or needs a break. Anyway, Hector's always been a bit of a flaky guy, so it's no surprise that he occasionally drops off his shift for whatever reason. That's where I come in. I'm supposed to cover his hours. Lately, though, Hector's been making it pretty clear that he expects me to bail him out every time he needs help with work. I've lost count of how many times he's asked me to take a shift I had already scheduled, even when there are other people on the schedule who might be able to cover it instead. It doesn't matter, Hector just assumes it'll be me. He even told me once that Sloan was still out sick and that it's my only option, like he owns the place. Here's the thing, I've got bills to pay, just like everyone else. When Hector asks me for a favor, he makes it sound like I'm doing him a huge solid by saying yes. He'll say stuff like, dude, I owe you one, or you're the only reason this place still runs smoothly. It's not like I haven't got better things to do with my time, but Hector always seems to make me feel guilty when I tell him no. The thing is, I've been in this situation before. Hector did it to me last year when he needed a favor and took a shift without asking anyone else first. I was stuck covering his hours for 3 days straight and lost out on pay because of it. Now he's doing the same thing to me, but with a lot less consequence. There are no repercussions for him if I say yes this time. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for choosing not to speak at my cousin Fletcher's funeral because our family has a long history of dysfunction and drama? So I chose not to speak at my cousin Fletcher's funeral because our family has a long history of dysfunction and drama. Our family gatherings are often tense, with arguments over money, inheritance, and just about everything else that matters. I've been on the receiving end of some pretty hurtful comments from relatives like Callie, who always seems to find fault in my life choices. I grew up with Zena, Fletcher's wife, who was always so warm and welcoming. We'd spend hours talking about our childhoods, sharing stories and memories of our parents' antics. But that all changed when our family's dynamics shifted. Callie began to spread rumors about me, saying I was irresponsible with my finances, that I'd squandered money from a trust fund set up by our late grandfather. It was hard not to take it personally. Fletcher and Zena would often try to mediate, but their words of encouragement usually came across as condescending or pitying. They'd say things like, "Oh, my name, you're so lucky to have a trust fund," or "Why don't you just get a stable job?" It felt like they were implying I wasn't good enough on my own. Last year, Fletcher and Zena asked me to contribute $10,000 towards the funeral expenses. I tried to politely decline, explaining that I was going through a tough financial stretch, but Callie overheard our conversation and began spreading it around the family. Now everyone seems to think I'm a cheapskate who can't even help my own cousin. As I stood outside the cemetery, watching the service from afar, I felt like I'd made the right decision. I didn't want to be there for all those judgmental eyes, waiting for me to say something that would only fuel their gossip and resentment. When some relatives approached me after the funeral, whispering things like, "You're really going to regret this," or "You'll never forgive yourself," I just shook my head and walked away. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for expecting my best friend Nadia to help me pick out a gift that won't break the bank when she just splurged on an engagement ring that cost $10,000? So I, 27F, and here's what happened. I was actually really excited to celebrate with Nadia after her engagement. We've been friends since college and this was a big milestone for both of us. We decided to grab brunch at our favorite spot the weekend she got engaged. Over pancakes and mimosas, she kept talking about how perfect Grayson is and all the details of their relationship. I mean, they've known each other since high school, so it's no surprise that Nadia was gushing. When the check came, Nadia casually mentioned that she had already taken care of her share of the ring. It was worth every penny, she said with a smile. Then, to my surprise, Grayson pulled out his phone and started scrolling through some wedding registry apps on the table. Nadia handed him her phone to show me what he wanted me to look at. I ended up spending $50 on a kitchen gadget that will hopefully be used by both of them in their new home. The next day, I went shopping for my own gift. I'd been eyeing this cute little necklace from a local artisan for weeks. But when I got back to Nadia's place to return her gift and celebrate again, she was already planning the guest list and decorations for their engagement party. When I mentioned that I had a new gift I wanted to give her, she said, "Oh, great." Something thoughtful, but didn't ask me what it was or when I got it. I ended up giving her the necklace in front of Grayson, who was there too, and Nadia barely even acknowledged it, just gave me a quick hug and thanked me for thinking of her. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for removing my family member, Theo, from my will after he confronted me about it? So I, 33 and here's what happened. I've been estranged from my sister Dani for a few years now due to her constant meddling in my personal life. We just had a huge fight last year when she discovered I was selling the family business, which she wanted to take over herself. She's been trying to guilt trip me into giving it back ever since, but I've been firm. Recently, I decided to update my will and leave everything to my mom, Jada, who has always been supportive of me and my decisions. The amount was substantial, $2 million that would cover all my debts, buy a new house, and set up a trust fund for my younger siblings. When Danny found out about the changes, she freaked out and confronted me at our family gathering. She told me I was dead to me and that she couldn't even look at me anymore. I stood my ground and explained that her behavior over the years had made it impossible for me to trust her with anything, let alone a multi-million-dollar inheritance. I also mentioned how hurtful it was that she would lecture me about being selfish when she's been the one trying to control every aspect of my life. Theo, our older brother, who has always taken Jada's side in these disputes, showed up at the gathering and started berating me for disowning Danny. Theo said that I was being ungrateful and that I should give Danny a bigger share of the inheritance because she's been there for me more. But the thing is, Theo has never shown any interest in my life or supported me when I needed it. He just wants to keep the family business and his own interests at heart. Jada kept trying to calm things down, but deep down, I know she's happy about her new windfall. And Danny is still fuming, saying that this is a personal attack on her because of our complicated relationship. Now, I'm feeling guilty for hurting their feelings, but at the same time, I don't regret making those changes to my will. Am I the asshole?